So I have opened the first Malazan The Fallen book because I have nothing better to do. Apparently. Anyway, what I want to talk about is appendixes for books. I met like normally three types of appendixes. Four maybe. One is which is entirely useless. It lists a couple of special terminology, but it does not help you, and you don't need it because the text explains them, so you never get confused. And of course, there is the version where you sometimes have to look something up, but again, there the majority, 95% of the addendum is absolutely unnecessary. It's just there because it's a gimmick, I guess. I Anyway, then there is Dune, Frank Herbert's Dune, the original thing. It has a pretty massive addendum, and I don't want to talk about any other kind of glossaries and addendums and all that stuff. It's just, this kind of thing where from the text you have a explaining to do, and you decided you make a whole other chapter where you just put all of them together for the reader to see or and use if he needs it, or she, of course. Then the entire addendum is absolutely unnecessary, but it adds, not just adds to the story, but it has stories in it, entire short stories, like how they terraformed Dune, or at least how you did plantation on Dune, so you don't have to call in a spaceship every 20 seconds. That's great. You can understand the whole book without ever hitting it up. But it's nice. It's actually not a glossary, dictionary, whatever, explaining things. It's it's used to hide some short stories in Frank Herbert's style, who was very engineer-minded. So it's a kind of dry if you don't like scientific literature. But I found it interesting. It was a great thing. Then this is the only one I have in the third or fourth version of this thing. This is a Hungarian book, uh, Lights of the North or something like that. Whatever. This is a so bad it's good book. It's absolutely pulp fantasy. Like at one point, the, the magician of the party, they it's not really a party, it's overpowered heroes going around in the realm, so but they are friends, so yeah, but actually we only follow the bard, this one, so it's great. He in theory has 600 IQ, but when a victim, someone who he killed, comes back from the grave and is a skeleton and he can't kill it again, and the skeleton has only a medallion in its neck, he spends like 5 pages fighting the skeleton until he realizes maybe taking down the medallion would solve the issue. So that's about. but my favorite scene. It's a one-page description. So the magician is going against some hostile or opposing city or empire or something, and he paints a fluorescent glowing pentagram like 30-meter diameter with 50 feet, 500 feet on the enemy castle's wall in secret, because that's night, so no one will apparently notice him just flying there, or I guess he was flying there, painting the ginormous fucking circle there and glowing the whole thing. Sure, great. I love it. I absolutely love it. I lost this thing or throw it out, but then I rebought it. Fortunately, it's like a pretty pathetic amount of money, and it has addendum. I'm quickly checking it. 20-30 pages. It's like this. It's like the whole thing is like 10% of the book is this addendum, and it tells you all kinds of bullshit like this goddess, cities, people, whatever. You obviously can't read it, it's Hungarian, but whatever. Do you need that to understand the book? What happens in the book? Absolutely not. Then what's the purpose of this? You see, this is in theory part of a saga, because there are like a bunch of flags, 13 flags exactly, and when all of the people who have the flag are killed, then it's Ragnarok is coming or something like that. I never cared about that shit, but if you care about the whole world and this whole giga saga story running around in the background and whatever, then this 10% of the book, because this whole thing is 300 pages, is great. It's not very short story like, it's not very flowing, the text is not very flowing, it's just there, but you can get the big picture, and if that aroused your interest, you can go and buy the other books in this world or this grand saga or whatever you are interested in. And here comes Malazan The Fallen or whatever. They interestingly, they translated that title to The Fallens of the Malazan Empire or something like that. It's the whole thing is in Hungarian, so again you won't have. I just borrowed this to my library. Yeah, they have electronic access and all that. Now there is a glossary at the beginning of the book. You see 7 from however many. It's actually 484 in my format, but now let's go to the end. I'm not enough at the end. And here you can see it's a whole big number, 3-digit number. I tell you, it's a 483 where I'm at. Doesn't matter really. It's like a 10-page thing, or if printed, I guess. But here is another glossary. Why? Why is there a second addendum? This is so hostile to the reader. Because do I flip to the beginning or the end? No idea. And you see, in the back we have name of places and other. Seriously, it's called other, for fuck's sake. And then we have a ranks and nations or whatever, races maybe, and deities, and some magic stuff. The most interesting thing here is, this is, I guess, the tarot magic the book has. And just let me list some briefly, it won't be very long. First, the House of Life. King, Queen, aka Goddess of Dreams, Champion, Priest, Messenger. There are more, but let's stop with the Messenger. So now let's compare this to the next one, the House of Death. King, aka the caped god. Is this the same king as in the House of Life? Why here has a different name too? Whatever. Second, Queen. We had a queen in the House of Life, but there it also was called the Goddess of Dreams. Why? Then the third is the Knight. There, in the other was the Champion. The fourth is the Priest on the other, and the Magician here. And then the Messenger. And then here the Messenger. This is hostile to the reader. Why aren't these lists arranged that we can immediately see which are the matching things, datas? King, Queen, Messenger, then list the other stuff. Why you put the Messenger on the 5th place? I have no idea. You have no reason to confuse your reader. This is just bad. And now let's go back to the beginning. These are the characters. Okay, so these are the characters I have to pay attention to, or what are we doing here? or these are all the characters in the book. I very much suspect these are not all the characters in the book. But let me go further. The leadership of the empire, does it contain the Empress? Because that's who actually governs the empire.
No! Why not? Because fuck you, that's why.
But eventually she gets listed. Then we get a list of stuff of the what's his name tavern. How did we arrive from the fucking Empress of the Empire to the random taverns crew in just one step, hard cut? It will be worse. There is the Council of the City. Then the League of the Assassin. Why? Why these? And then and again, other characters.
What do you mean other characters?
Why don't you fuck yourself? And within the other characters, we have one more others.
What do you mean others? We are listing the others. That's what you said, you moron.
And here they are. They are just dumped in there. Because why not? And there it will be worse. It will be worse. Because at the beginning there is the bridge burners. And all of them are from the 9th Squadron of the 2nd Centurion of whatever. So why don't you say that we just have to pay attention to the 9th Squadron in general? What's this bullshit? Why you flood me with 20 names here? I guess it will be like that grimdark series with the black company or whatever. That guy also got greedy, and when his story ended, he just restarted because people buy every single piece of shit. And I actually read this shit because here I found some Genabakis, the War of Genabakis or whatever. I was wondering if it would be a place, so I looked it up in the back. I had to go all the way to the back and find it here, at least hoping to find it here, and I found it, and it mentions names. And then I read the next article in this bullshit list, and you know what I found? The Son of Darkness. That's edgy. I let you guess. Does he have a separate article about him? Even though all of these, they say nothing, they like, whatever, Tundric territory. This is a Tundric territory. Fuck you! That's not helping. Why would I care about that? Or this is a hunter relative of whoever. Who the fuck cares? Or this is a Jaguta tyrant. Yeah, sure, and? Why is he in the glossary? Why do we need a glossary? But back to Mr. Son of Darkness. That sounds important. That's a something that you can explain something about it. Not just, he lives in and that's it. He is maybe the local smith or warlord or alchemist, cook. What should I do with this? Because when I open a book, and I am to decide whether I want to read this, buy this, whatever. I am looking on the extra stuff. The back text, the front text, the text on the inside of the cover, and the whatever, where the list of the chapters, and the glossary. But here I see this glossary, and what am I supposed to do with it? The worst thing is, while it looks useless, it also looks important. That's the worst.